Every great story has a hero, the chosen one, the warrior, the one destiny selects to stand against the darkness. But sometimes, the most important person in the story is not the hero. Sometimes, it is the one who stands beside the hero, who shows up every single time, not because they were chosen, not because they have powers or prophecies or special gifts, but because they chose to be there. That was Xander Harris. That was Nicholas Brendon. March 20th, 2026, Nicholas Brendon passed away peacefully in his sleep at the age of 54. His family confirmed he died of natural causes, surrounded, as they said, by the art and the life he had built. Across the world, in living rooms and dorm rooms and anywhere Buffy the Vampire Slayer ever mattered, people felt it. Nicholas Brendon was born Nicholas Brendon Schultz on April 12, 1971 in Los Angeles, California. He grew up with a twin brother, Kelly, in a household shaped by creativity and California sunshine. From early on, he wanted to perform. He wanted to make people laugh. He wanted to be in the room where the stories happened. But the road was not easy. Nicholas Brendon struggled with a stutter as a child, a challenge that could have ended his dreams before they began. Instead, it made him work harder, made him more determined. It gave him a relationship with vulnerability and perseverance that would later make his performances feel so real, so genuine, so deeply human. He worked, he trained, he auditioned. And then, in 1997, a show came along that changed everything. Not just for him, for an entire generation. Buffy the Vampire Slayer debuted on March 10, 1997, and it was unlike anything television had ever seen. A teenage girl, a destiny she never asked for, a world full of monsters that nobody else could see. And beside her, always beside her, was Xander Harris. No powers, no magic, no chosen destiny, just a boy from Sunnydale who refused to let his best friend face the darkness alone. In a show full of vampires and slayers and witches and prophecies, Xander Harris was the most human character on screen. Nicholas Brendon played him with a brilliance that the industry never fully celebrated, but the fans never forgot. He was the comedy, he was the heart, he was the one who said the thing everyone else was thinking. He was the one who showed up again and again, armed with nothing but a stake, a joke, and an unshakable loyalty. Sarah Michelle Gellar, Buffy herself, quoted one of Xander's most beloved monologues in her tribute. The speech about being the one who isn't chosen, the one who just sees. And she added, with words that will stay with every Buffy fan forever, "I saw you, Nicky. I know you are at peace in that big rocking chair in the sky." Nicholas Brendon showed up for every single one of them, giving everything he had to a character that gave millions of people something they needed. The reminder that you do not have to be chosen to matter. You just have to show up. Nicholas Brendon was more than Xander Harris. After Buffy ended in 2003, he continued to work. He appeared in Criminal Minds, one of the most watched procedural dramas in television history, in a recurring role that showed a completely different side of his range. He did theater, he did conventions. He showed up for the fans who loved him year after year at Buffy reunions and pop culture events around the world, with the same warmth and humor and genuine connection that made Xander Harris so beloved in the first place. His castmates remembered not just the actor, but the man, David Boreanaz. Angel himself described Brendon as a real person in an industry that often is not. He said some people leave a mark without trying. James Marsters, Spike, called him a brilliantly talented actor and said it was a joy to work alongside him. Alyson Hannigan, Willow, thanked him for years of laughter, love, and Dodgers. Emma Caulfield, Anya, could barely find the words. She simply said, "Rest, Nicky, rest." And Charisma Carpenter, Cordelia, wrote at length about the warmth and the love of the man she knew on that set all those years ago. The Scooby Gang, together one more time, in grief, in love, in gratitude. Now, we have to talk about something important, because Nicholas Brendon's life after Buffy was not easy, and he never pretended it was. He faced significant health challenges, including a congenital heart defect that had been with him his whole life. 2022, he suffered a cardiac incident serious enough to require emergency hospitalization. He faced personal struggles that played out publicly in ways that were painful for him and painful for the fans who loved him. Here is what his family made sure the world understood. At the time of his passing, Nicholas Brendon was optimistic about the future. He had found something new, something that brought him peace and joy and creative expression in a way that felt entirely his own. Painting. His family described his art as a pure reflection of who he was, a passionate, sensitive, endlessly driven man, finding new ways to put beauty into the world. The boy who had struggled with a stutter, the actor who played the hero without powers, the man who fought private battles in public view. At the end, he was painting, he was creating, he was looking forward. That matters. That is the truth of who Nicholas Brendon was. Here is what Nicholas Brendon leaves behind. He leaves behind 7 seasons of television that changed what stories on screen could be. That told a generation of young people, especially young people who felt overlooked, unspecial, and unchosen, that they mattered, that their loyalty and their love and their showing up was worth something. He leaves behind a Scooby Gang that loved him fiercely and is grieving him openly. He leaves behind fans all over the world who grew up with Xander Harris as their person, their representative, the one on screen who felt most like them. He leaves behind paintings, art, a pure reflection of who he was, and he leaves behind the most powerful thing any performer can leave behind. The feeling, that unmistakable, irreplaceable feeling of watching someone be completely, authentically themselves on screen. Nicholas Brendon never played it safe. He never phoned it in. He never gave Xander Harris anything less than everything he had. And the world felt it for 27 years. Xander Harris once said something that every Buffy fan carries with them. He was the one who wasn't chosen, the one who just sees. What Sarah Michelle Gellar said in her tribute, "I saw you, Nicky," is perhaps the most beautiful send-off any actor could ever receive. Because to be truly seen, in an industry built on image and performance and carefully constructed facades, to be seen as a real person, a passionate person, a sensitive person, an endlessly driven person, that is everything. Nicholas Brendon was 54 years old. He had a twin brother who loved him. He had castmates who cherished him. He had fans who never stopped showing up for him. The same way Xander Harris never stopped showing up for Buffy. He died peacefully, in his sleep, surrounded by his art and his life. And somewhere, in that big rocking chair in the sky, Nicky is at peace. Rest easy, Nicholas Brendon. You were the heart of the Scooby Gang, and you will always, always be seen.